Okay, well, here we go. So for Wrestle-A-Thon, we are on the Marine 3. Alright, now I've seen this before, but it's been quite a few years. I watched it when I first got this. I think I got it from Family Video. And I remember it being alright, better than Marine 2, and it's not only better than, after rewatching it, it's not only better than Marine 2, it may be better than the first Marine. I've heard, I watched Brian Zane's review for it the other day, and because I watched his reviews up till 6. I haven't watched the review for 6 yet. I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. I've seen 1 through 5, but I haven't seen 6, so I did not watch his review for 6. But I watched his review for 3, and he says it was probably the best of the Marine movies that he's watched. I don't know if that's the same with 6, but after 6, but I don't know. And I went, now the first one is the best. He said the second one was better than the first one, and no, not with DiBiase's non-acting, it's not. But this one, it's a good ass movie. It's a good ass movie, and the plot crunch is the Miz plays Jake Carter, who's coming home on leave. He's not kicked out like John Cena was in the first one, and he's just coming home kind of like DiBiase's character in the first one. And they do a big change here. It's not his wife or girlfriend that gets taken, it's his sister, which is still kind of the same plot. Someone close to the Marine gets taken, he's got to get it back. It's the sister, the younger sister, who looks older than him, but she's not older than him, and her boyfriend are kidnapped, and so he's got to, first of all, deal with this FBI, the FBI people led by this guy, played by Steve Bashik, whatever you pronounce the name, and he's been in other stuff, like Stargate SG-1, and Andromeda is Rade, and but he's got to go in there and get his sister back from the clutches of Jonas, played by Neil McDonough. And let me tell you, after Jango Fett in the last one, I would say that they have some banger villains in the Marine franchise, at least so far. You got Robert Patrick, who was just a petty jewel thief, but he was a decent villain. And then you have Jango Fett in the second one, who was like a trained assassin type dude. And then you got Neil McDonough, who is one of those guys, the venture capitalists. They want to bring the man down. They bring down the system, and because they've been wronged. One of those type characters, and I think he's a great villain. But I'm gonna sit down now. We also have by his side another actor who I've seen in the Stargate franchise. I don't remember his name here, but he was Kavanaugh on Stargate Atlantis. And if you were a Stargate Atlantis fan and you hear me say Kavanaugh, you probably went, because he's a terrible character on that show. But he's been in other things, including Harper's Island, which he was a decent character, not the best, but still decent in that one. Before he was killed, spoiler alert. But he's sort of one of the right-hand men. The other right-hand man is played by Michael Eklund, who we will also see in See No Evil 2, which is coming up in a couple movies here. Like I said, The Miz plays Jake Carter. He's coming home on leave, and he kind of meets up with his sister. Now, it's always weird when you get movies that someone's coming home and meeting up people they haven't seen in a long time and get this exposition of stuff that's happened to them, and it almost feels like it was written as if we already know these characters, right? And again, I could say if this was John Triton and he was coming home to his hometown and meeting with his sisters, that'd be one thing. But we don't really know Jake Carter. Well, we'll get to know him over the next 4 movies that he's in, because after this, like, hey, The Miz is our guy, And I was speaking of The Miz being cast. Originally, they were going to have Bob Holly play the lead character. 46-year-old Bob Holly wasn't even signed with the character at the time, with the company, excuse me, at the time. But apparently he was going to be in this movie, and that didn't work. And so once again, they went back to the Randy Orton thing. But again, that didn't work out. So now we got The Miz, and he never went away. And he hasn't done a movie since Marine 6, which is weird because they were like cash cows. I wonder why he hasn't done one since then. I don't know. Maybe I'll explain it. I don't know. Maybe he retired from being a Marine or something. I don't know. But maybe they just didn't want to do it anymore. Maybe that's it. They're like, okay, we milked this cow long enough. We'll just, how many times can this one guy have to go in there? 4 movies in a row? Yeah. But anyway, this one is coming home. And now it's like these small town movies where everybody knows your name kind of thing. Like a Cheers. Like he's got his best friend is a cop. Right? And then he got his sisters. And they all know each other. And there's a whole small town thing. They know each other very well. And I like that. And even when the sister, Lily, mentions her boyfriend, he's like, oh, that kid was a punk. Like, he knows who it is. So I like the whole small town feel. And what happens here is we actually go back and forth between Jake and Jonas. No, not Jonas from Twister, but a different Jonas. Pope. I'm going to call him Pope. Jonas Pope is his name. And he's a great villain. He's one of those, bring down the man, bring down the system type characters that you just hate. And it's Neil McDonough, plays a great villain. He was in Arrow and stuff like that. He's a great villain. Great villain actor. Great actor to have if you can have a villain. Just saying. Where the sister and her boyfriend get in trouble is they're hanging out at this junkyard. Apparently it's a normal hangout, they're drinking beer or whatever. When they witness Jonas Pope kill someone and, then they're taken hostage. Why they don't just drive away is beyond me, but they start screaming and of course someone hears them and I don't know. It's all very convoluted how they get captured, but they have to get captured. Common sense be damned. So, yeah. And so, Jake decides he's going to go in and try to save him, but he gets intercepted by what seem to be like army guys or military enforcers type people working for Pope. But it turns out they work for the FBI because he's got a man on the inside. And I was like, oh, I wonder if it's Michael Eklund's character. He seems to want to know what's going on. He keeps asking the questions. And you're supposed to think that because there's one point where Pope tracks that someone is making a call and he sees that it's Michael Eklund's character and he's like, okay, what are you doing? He's like, I was calling my girlfriend. She's pregnant. I was just checking to see how she is. And he's like, you know the rules. No. I insist. I was calling my girlfriend. She having stomach pains. I was just checking in on her. He's like, redial. He redials it and he sees that it's the truth. So he's not the man on the inside. It's this guy we had never really seen, or if we had, didn't pay attention to him enough. Comes in Agent Sims, I think, and he tries to rescue Lily and her boyfriend, but gets caught and gets shot in the back of the head. And then Lily and her boyfriend, they try to escape, but they get separated. And Lily gets captured by Michael Eklund, while boyfriend gets away and eventually reconvenes with The Miz. Meanwhile, back with The Miz tries to convince the Steve Bajik to the FBI guy, I forget his name, to let him go in there, and he won't. And this involves him. Like, there's a thing earlier where he gets in a bar fight, and the sister's like, you embarrass me, basically is what it is. By this point, the older sister, who actually is older than The Miz and is supposed to be the older sister of the two, comes in. But she looks younger than The Miz, which is weird. The older sister, played by the older actress, looks younger than The Miz. And then the younger sister, played by the younger actress, looks older. It's very weird. when he's like, "Oh, my little sister," I'm thinking it's the blonde when they see her, and he's like, "No, Lily, little sister." I'm like, "What? Wait, she's the younger sister?" Okay, I mean, if you stood me and my brother next to each other, he's got like bushy hair and a ponytail, and he usually has a beard, and he's taller than me. You might think that he's older, but I'm older. Although with my hairline, you might think I'm older. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Kevin Owens retained the United States title. In case you cared. Where was I? Right. The Miz wants to go in. FBI guy says no. And after a fight, hit another FBI agent. He tells his friend, who's the cop, to arrest him. But they get up to a certain point. He lets him go. He goes, "You're going to catch out for this." I know. Just go get him. He gives him a gun. And then we get the Marine. And this is like an hour into the film. Maybe a little bit less than an hour into, maybe like 45 minutes into the film, you finally have the Marine going after her. I understand story building. It works. It works. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying can we have the Miz go after him. No, the story building they were doing works. Other than there was a little bit too much back and forth, showing us what Pope was doing, but there's a point to that, So Jake infiltrates and is able to get his sister back. Well, he runs into the boyfriend and he says, "Okay, you have to get out of here, go, whatever." Hops on a motorcycle and goes after because they've demanded a police officer, local police, and a sedan, basically, to take them somewhere else. Eklund kills the cop and takes his place, and there's a bomb in the car that's has to do with society. I don't know. There's a bomb in the car. I don't think it's ever fully explained what his plan was. As much as Eklund keeps asking him and everything, I don't think it's ever really explained what his plan is. Like bringing down the establishment, bringing down the man. I don't know. If they did, I didn't get it. But Jake comes to save the day. Eklund is killed, and then there's a showdown. He shoots. He and his officer buddy shoot Pope, killing him. And we have this big reunion of the siblings hugging each other, and then boyfriend comes riding up after them, and it's all set to the song "Tomorrow Comes Today" by 12 Stones, and that goes into the credits too, where they do the thing where they show scenes from the movie, followed by the actor's credit underneath with the character in it, like Neil McDonough, Ashley Bell, Mike the Miz Mizanin, that sort of thing, Michael Eklund, that sort of thing underneath to that song, "Tomorrow Comes Today" by 12 Stones, and I was like, 12 Stones. How do I know that, man? Because I asked my phone. I said, "Hey, da da da." I'm not gonna say it because it might activate it. Who sings this song? Or what song is this? And it told me, "Tomorrow Comes Today" by 12 Stones. And I went, 12 Stones. How do I know the name of that man? We walk alone. Walk alone. We are known, we live to win another victory. Our nerves and scars show who we are. It's time to listen. We are one, we are one, we are one. We will stand together. Number one, the chosen ones. That's right, it's the theme song to the Nexus. And I was like, they sing that theme song, I forgot. I was like, 12 Stones, I know that band, and then I looked it up. I'm like, do they sing that theme song? So I typed into YouTube, 12 Stones, We Are One, popped up, listened to it. That is the song. Yeah, but that is a great song. Not We Are One, but Tomorrow Comes Today. I was bobbing my head. It's a song to end the movie with. I think it's pretty good. This might be the best of the Marine films. There's great actions. It's back to, it's kind of back to the first one where there's gun stuff. There is some hand-to-hand stuff in this. There's less explosions than the first one, so it's kind of like combining the first two together. And it's a nice difference from, "Oh, my wife gets taken, gotta go after her." It's still someone's gotta go after them, and it's still a female. But I think it works in this, and the Miz, as much, I've never been a big fan of the Miz. I did pop when he won the WWE Championship from Randy Orton, mostly because he finally cashed in that thing, taking so long to do it. By the way, can you hurry up and have Austin Theory cash in, whether he successfully does it or not? Just do something. I'm sick of them having them hold it. Come out, oh look, I'm gonna do it, and then they don't do nothing. It's like, yeah. He even went to NXT and teased he was gonna do it, and then didn't even show up to Halloween Havoc to even tease anything. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't think Triple H even knows what they're doing with Austin Theory at this point, because Vince McMahon had high hopes for him. Now that Vince is gone, right? Who knows? I mean, there's no way they're gonna have him cash in on Roman. There's no way. The only acceptable option, and I've heard people throw out other ones. Oh, I think Sami Zayn should beat Roman. Wrong. Oh, I think it should be Seth Rollins. Wrong. The only acceptable answer of who should beat Roman Reigns is Cody Rhodes. And yes, I know it came out Vince McMahon had no desire to do that, but Vince McMahon is gone. It only makes sense that Cody comes back at Royal Rumble, wins the Royal Rumble, goes to WrestleMania, and beats Roman Reigns. Only acceptable option at this point. Anything else is going to people are going to get pissed. Because, especially since they keep playing that same ass promo for every premium live event. Again, that's getting away from the topic, but back to the Marine 3. It's pretty good. I think it's actually better than the first one. I'm just saying, this time watching the first one again, it didn't sit well with me. With just so hokey and unbelievable, the explosions were. Super Cena, but this is more realistic. The Miz is more realistic than John Cena. I don't think I'd ever say that, but he is. So, yes, and folks, we're in for a big jiggle, a little jarring of an experience, because we're going to dive into the first animated WWE film that I'm doing in this Wrestle-A-Thon with Scooby-Doo and the WrestleMania Mystery, or as it was called when it was aired on Cartoon Network, Scooby-Doo the WWE Mystery, because you couldn't use wrestle in it. I don't know. We'll get into that. I'm very excited to watch this again. I haven't watched it in a while, so Miz is in that one too, but he's playing the Miz, not a different character. So yeah, this is also the first one I'm doing in this Wrestle-A-Thon where the wrestlers are playing themselves, their wrestling characters. So it'll be interesting. What are your thoughts on Marine 3? Homefront, let me know, comment below. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.